Afternoon, thanks for watching eNCA. This is Sports on Today. Former Proteas fast bowler Vernon Philander on his stellar career with the national men's cricket team. Well, at the peak of his powers, Philander was the fastest wicket taker to 100 and 200 test wickets and is the country's most successful bowler. In New Zealand, in test crickets, Philander has enjoyed a glittering career post his playing days as a broadcaster and bowling coach for Pakistan at the 2021 T20 World Cup. Philander had his fair share of hardships in the national team due to racial challenges, but continued to excel on the field of play. Our reporter Justin Ford has more. Good afternoon, Justin.
Yeah, good afternoon, Arthur. A very warm welcome from Cape Town. I am at Vernon Philander's residence, where he's agreed to chat to us. Just talking to our focus today on eNCA about nation building. Vernon hails from Ravensmead, a community here in Cape Town, not known, for prowess. In fact, a lot of struggles that he's had to endure. And Vernon, that is something that you would agree with. But you were a shining example, despite those challenges in those particular areas. Today, much of the same. I mean, we looked at 1994, in a democratic South Africa where we were hoping things would change, but unfortunately things have not changed. Sport, however, has proven to be that nation builder. The 1995 Rugby World Cup, 1996 AFCON, where South Africa Bafana had won that. Most recently, the World Cup in 2019, where the Springboks also won. Just for you personally, where you've come from and what you've been able to achieve, where are we going wrong to make sure that our country and our citizens are actually living a comfortable life as opposed to what we're currently having to endure?
Yeah, I think first of all, thanks, Justin. I think it's also a massive honor and privilege to have represented my country, and I can really attest to how sport has brought together people. I think it also spreads a massive message of hope. I think for us as youngsters at the time, and because sports was available to us, it became that vehicle out of our circumstances, like you've mentioned earlier. If you look at the Cape Flats at the moment, sport has probably gone backwards. I think we've probably taken too much of a relaxed step when we look at sport and opportunities of sports in our communities. And I think it has been a massive vehicle, and it's been a massive drive for a lot of our sporting heroes coming from the so-called struggled areas. And I think I'd like to see sport being revived in a way, and really to give younger people a sense of hope. I think when you play for South Africa and when you play for your province, you really get to see what a lot of cultures come together and really become one, and I think if we adopt the mentality of the way people support sport, I think as a nation we can really come together and go a long way. But like you've alluded to, I'd like to see sport being revived in our communities.
I like that. You mentioned to me earlier upon arrival that you are also trying to do your bit in bringing about change in certain communities. Just talk us a bit through that.
Yeah, I think obviously through my foundation, I've really highlighted the fact and working close with the Tygerberg Hospital, the needs that's out there. And I think one of the biggest needs at the moment is malnutrition. And I think a lot of our communities, because of the poverty rate, doesn't really get the nutrition that the kids need. So I've gone and done some homework with a couple of companies, Best Food Options, Harvest Foods, to really put a product on the market to really give kids the nutrition that they need, to really develop mentally as well as physically. And I think it's a massive importance in our communities to make sure that we feed kids the right nutrition. And I think we all have a role to play. I think mine, yes, I'm doing it on the ground at the moment, but I'd like to see all of us as South Africans pull together. And really, I think for me, yes, it is sad to see where we are in today's world, because we all would have been hopeful for a much better South Africa at the time that we're finding ourselves. Not to be, but I think as a South African, I still have a lot of hope, and for me personally, I'd like to see us really all change our mindset towards humanity. And I think that's something that I'll always speak about. Is let our faith be, let our religion be, let our backgrounds, our cultures be humanity, and really transform to a lifestyle where we afford everyone the opportunity to become great.
Just in short, Vernon, as the last question, as sportsmen and women currently, being involved as professionals in the game, again, we say we've used sport as a tool to change. Is that unnecessary pressure on these sportsmen and women, knowing that it's being left to them to bring a bit of glimmer of hope to the country, or is it a fair sort of expectation on the South Africans?
Look, I think I found great joy, whilst I was at the helm and in the peak of my career. I think it's a responsibility that will be with you anyway. The importance and the need to perform week in, week out, will be with you. But I think all in all, and after all of that, you're really setting an example for the next generation. So, I mean, that sort of pressure will be with you. But I think to create extra hope, yes, it is probably a bit of added pressure, but I think I'd like to encourage, our sportsmen and women to really take, the lead and lead it on the sport fields or wherever you might be in your personal capacities. But yeah, let us keep being the shining examples for the next generation to follow.
I like that. Vernon Philander, no longer with the ball in hand, but surely the mindset to hopefully bring about change in communities that are in dire need of that, Arthur. And I think, again, it's just the call to many more out there to be able to provide as much as they possibly can to make a discernible change in our country at the moment.
Well, thank you very much, Justin, all the way out in Cape Town, speaking to one of the most prolific bowlers in South Africa's cricket history, that is Vernon Philander.